My name is Babette Pluim. I'm sports physician at the Dutch Tennis Federation, and I'm here to discuss with Bibiane Schoofs, tennis player, about injuries and injury prevention. And we will discuss a lot of injuries. But let me first introduce Bibiane to you. Bibiane is a Dutch tennis player. She started playing tennis with her father when she was age 4, and she became a member of the Dutch Tennis Federation at age 6. Age 7, she started playing judo, a sport that I also love. At the age of 8, she already became a regional champion, juniors, and I think age 12, in 2000, she became Dutch national championship, beating Michaela Krajicek. Age 14, she played the European championships and the world championships in team tennis. Does it have a specific name?
No, it's European and World Champions for team with Krajicek, with Misha.
Had a very good team. And at age 17, she was ranked in the World Juniors, ranked number 14. So she worked very, very hard. She played at the same tennis club where I played, and she was doing jumping exercises, jumping ropes. She was running on the treadmill. She was being tested. She ran a lot with her father. She was doing a lot of judo up till the blue belt, and fit as a fiddle. She still is. And then she came to the seniors. At age 24, she reached her highest ranking, 142 in the world. She won 8 ITF tournaments. And age 28, she beat Arantxa Rus in the finals of the national championships. So she's a late bloomer here. And then she played in all 4 Grand Slams. And she played also in the formerly called Fed Cup, but the Billie Jean King Cup, and representing the Netherlands. She loves playing doubles, and she is now aiming for her last final 4 or 5 years, maybe 10 years, to play lots of doubles tennis. And
happy to make it at 2 already.
come on,
Without
you can
injuries.
do it. Her highest doubles ranking was 83. She was a winner of 2 WTA tournaments and 19 ITF tournaments. And here you see her, celebrating those wins in the WTA. But there were also some tougher times, and you can see the enormous power going through her body. And she did have a couple of injuries. And I forgot my piece of paper because there are quite a few. So she started having a little overuse injury on her shoulder, and I was already her doctor at the time, but with a little rest that healed very well. She then developed her first right ankle sprain already at the age of 12, actually in her best year when she was the Dutch national champion in the juniors. Had some Achilles tendon problems, running too much with her father. She had a very unfortunate accident in South Africa where the driver didn't see that it was a T-corner. He went straight into a ditch, and she did develop some back problems after that, but recovered very well. Had a ganglion of the right wrist, some wrist problems, a little bit of knee pain. It all recovered. Another ankle sprain, a little bit more serious this time, at the same time when she had mononucleosis, and she had some problems with her left toe, an infection. It just didn't heal. It didn't heal the year after either, but then she finally recovered, but developed a strain of her quadriceps muscle during sprinting, and another quadriceps muscle later on in the year.
Here was 18, huh? We're not half there, only 18.
We're getting there. Some of them were not that serious, but some were a little bit more serious. Some left elbow pain in Egypt, abdominal problems, which is logical, gastroenteritis, right elbow problems, another strain of the quadriceps, a little bit more shoulder problems, which healed very well, some posterior elbow pain, another elbow pain, sending her to the elbow specialist. It all recovered. Had an upper respiratory tract infection which lasted a very long time. Then, a very strange injury, which I had never seen before. In serving, you make this movement all the time. She developed a partial rupture of the iliotibial tract, which was diagnosed on ultrasound. Some adductor muscle problems. Then, periostitis of the femur, which was a very serious injury, which lasted at least 6 months, treated by Peter Vergouwen. Took a long, long time to recover. She had a small sprain of her forefoot, a strain of the abdominal muscle, again related to tennis play, another gastroenteritis in Morocco this time, then a left ear infection and a hole in her eardrum with all the flying and the pressure changes, and then finally some back problems, a couple months during COVID, another back problem, took a long time. And then when she was completely fit again, ready to play, in April this year, she developed a very serious ankle sprain with ruptured muscle tendons on the lateral side, on the medial side, and some bone contusion. Despite that, she said, I'm not giving up, despite these injuries, I'm not giving up. I love tennis. I'm going for it. And so I'll show them to you later, but let's talk a little bit. What could we have done to prevent these injuries? Bibiane, would you like to say something yourself at this moment? Or, you were a little bit shocked when Bibiane and I have known each other for a long time, and I just went back in her files and I found all the letters and some of the medical certificate. Gradually they came back to you, which probably caused nightmares last night when you're thinking of all these injuries. But what would you like to say about this?
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. Of course, some things can be prevented by being fit and being prepared, but some things when I listen, I'm like, God, that's unlucky. Yeah, shit happens. It's so you can prevent, of course, a lot of things, but some things you actually
you cannot.
But you still want to make the possibility as slow as you can, of course, to get it. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's
flying in the car over a ditch in South Africa was not something you could have prevented. No,
and I think that's it was, of course, you can't prevent it. And from there, I think the whole back problems I had through the rest of my career has been problems with my back.
Related to
probably
that injury.
From that moment. It never went away. So what can you do about it?
You've always been very, very fit, and you've always believed in fitness. But you did tell me when you were very young, you did play a lot. You didn't mind. But can you tell the audience how much you played when you were like in elementary school?
Yeah, no, elementary school, I mean, God, I was under 12, so that means every day our dad was picking us up and we're practicing every day after school. But the pace picked up at Middelburg?
High school.
And then it was a morning session, and then the afternoon session with federation, and then you have another physical training actually at the end of the day, and that happens like 3-4 times a week. So 3 sessions a day for at least 4 times, I think is quite. Yeah, if you look back, I'm like, ooh, that we maybe should have done it differently, but yeah.
But do you think it was related to your injuries, or just necessary to become a professional tennis player?
I think in tennis in Holland, or I don't know, I think tennis itself, we are like, the more the better. You have to make hours, and if you don't do enough, it's probably, you think, or the most, it's the mindset, if you don't do enough, it's not going to be enough. But sometimes everyone knows less is more. And I think I found out through the hard way that sometimes less is more. But you still need to get a certain level, and sometimes matches take about 3.5 hours if you're lucky. If you play 2 matches, you end up playing 4 or 5 hours a day. So somewhere you have to find the balance between getting used to it, but also be able to handle it, because you play the one day 4 hours and the next day you have to go on court again, of course, because we play too often doubles, singles, in tournaments.
So you have to be able to handle that load.
Yeah.
But but I think things have changed a little bit. In the old days, like 20 years ago when I started, or 30 years ago actually, it was 4 hours a day of tennis and 1.5 hours of physical training for everybody. Now, Natasha, maybe you can tell them what your role is at the KLTB at the moment, what you do with the load monitoring. Oh.
We're using Smartabase, and that's a program where the athletes can fill in their training load, and that's measured using the duration of the training and the RPE, and that gives a better image of how much they train in a week or in a day, and then I can give some advice for different kind of weeks. So a pre-tournament week will be less load compared to a preparation week, and so we can monitor their load better than just by one size fits all kind of.
Thank you. Yeah. Can you tell a little bit, because you went running with your father this week, and this morning we heard about too much pressure and, people pushing you too hard. Do you feel your father pushed you too hard?
He's also old school. I think it's the same age as you, no? Sorry.
Thank you. he's my tennis coach as well.
Yeah. No, it's funny actually, because when I think about it back, he was also the one like more. You need to do more. It's enough. And nowadays he's like, I call him like, God, have a tough week. This practices, this amount, and I think it's been enough. Yeah, take it easy. You have done enough. I'm like, you wouldn't have said that 20 years ago. So I think really the mindset changed, and he was never pushing really, but yeah, he expected a lot. If you don't go to school as often, like you do if you want to do this, then we do it right. So everything's set aside. You still have to go to school, but I think it's logic that they expect something from you, as in English. Yeah, like you have nothing else, so this is where you go to. So they expect to give you all.
Give it your all. Yeah. Shall we maybe ask the audience if they have a question? There's a question.
What was for you a sign that you had to pass a training in your career? Like today is not going to work out. Like I'm feeling sick, or having a high heart rate, rest maybe, or gut feeling, or.
Sorry, again, I missed the first part.
Yeah, what did you use to decide that enough is enough? What kind of monitoring system did you use for yourself to decide how heavy your training load needed to be?
There was a period where I took heart rate in the morning. The moment I woke up, and if it was elevated, then I was like, okay, this is already different. I know you have nowadays this Whoop. I don't know, some people, well, most. So I've been considering, should I do it, should I take it? But yeah, nowadays with the experience, you wake up and you start moving and I'm like, okay, it's a day like this. But when I was younger, I would have loved to have really to have more like Whoop, you put it on and you really have more data, like specific data, not like, oh, I'm not feeling so well. Or because then I'm like, not feeling so well. Yeah, but come on, don't be a whoosh. You can,
Did it work out, the heart rate, for example? Because you're not using it anymore then?
No, because I found tough. Sometimes you wake up like in a kind of shock and then the heart rate is gone. I mean, so I found it sometimes tough. Also the night sleep, if, you wake up like having a really bad night, then already just by thinking of it, okay, today I'm taking it a little bit back. And I think when you're younger, you keep going. You can go, of course, because there's no limit almost as you're younger, your recovery. But as you get older, at one point it's like, okay, I'm done now. It's there, the limit comes further. So you, with the more experience, like, okay, I'm getting there. Okay, you feel it dropping. Okay, training is finished now. The quality is going down. It's been enough. And as younger, you just keep going, and the quality doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, you don't even think about it. But now, yeah, it's different. I'm older. I need my rest. I need the quality and not the quantity anymore.
When did it change, actually?
Excuse me?
So when did it change from going old school to now the new monitoring training load?
I try. it's been a couple of years now that I try to switch, but still I find it hard sometimes with heart and mind that I know I have enough, but also I love to work out. I love to like die and to like get up and do it again. So it's for I tried a couple of years and still sometimes it's too much because I find that for me personally, I have a problem that I feel often that I cross the line too late. So I'm crossing it, but I don't feel it, and then it hits me after. So I'm actually already too late. So even though I was trying to find the balance to put it back a little bit, the hit comes the day after. I'm like, okay, I've done too much. So it's sometimes also hard to, even if you want to, then still execute it right if you do it by yourself.
I noticed that in 2009, 2011, and then a gap 2014 to 2017, you didn't have any injuries listed. Was there anything substantially different in your training or competition schedule during those years, or what do you attribute that to?
Between 2000
That's a bit personal. Is it okay?
No, in 2012 it was quite tough, the injury, and it took me a while. And then, I got in a relationship, and it hit me. It was the left on 2013 was my foot, and it took a while again, like long. I was like, okay, God, do I really want this? I'm 20. How old was it? 26.
Yeah, 25, 26.
And met this person, and the life like that was also fine. So I practiced less, and I didn't play as much matches anymore. So also the stress from the matches goes down. So it's also not as hard on your body probably because more stress than practice. And I had pneumonia that year. So actually it was 2 years, 2014 until 2016, where I kind of also had problems, but I lay low and just hardly played, like not on the highest level. So there was.
You had a sabbatical, so to speak.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's called being married.
And she got married. Very important. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So I'm really curious how you perceived approximately 23 years of medical care. So how did it change, and what are the things that you liked? What are the things that maybe things you could improve in the future in terms of the medical care you received?
And don't spare my feelings. You really appreciated Peter Vergouwen's care.
Yes. Didn't I come with him through you?
Mm-hmm.
Did I? Yeah, because you.
Yes, I
didn't know
refer to. Yes, when you had this long problems
this-
with the legs,
Yeah.
I really needed his support,
Yeah.
and I referred you to him. Yes.
Yeah. No, I think I was lucky having one of the best physicians around me. I mean, she is one of the ones were in tennis for years, and Peter Vergouwen is one of the main known doctor in Holland and international probably as well. So I think I've been really lucky with him. But it's a hard one actually. Because I considered myself lucky in how I got helped, and sometimes then you hear people, oh, I have an MRI, yeah, in 3 weeks. I'm like, oh God, I'm lucky I was able to get it like the same day. So I think that's really an privilege that as sports and being helped, being able to go fast diagnosis, you don't have to wait for diagnosis for another 2 weeks. So I think that is one thing what really is lucky if you're in sports. I do wish last 1.5 years ago, no, different. The regular sport is really like all about the science part. Like we see it, we know it, or we don't know it, and it's done. And I've met, like the last 2 years, I found out what alternative things can be. Like, I mean, osteopath is still called alternative treatment, acupuncture, or you probably think about something, and it's. Yeah, and I think that is underbelicht.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah,
yeah,
underrated.
and I think that can be, yeah, part of help, maybe early part of the puzzle, and my back problem last year. At one point, I had 3 weeks of 3 times of 7 weeks where they made me, like, first they tried, okay, we do this, and eventually didn't help. And then they said, okay, no, another thing happened, so we start again, another 7 weeks of recovery, and within 1.5 years, the one thing, okay, we have tried only one thing, we didn't, actually, doing nothing. Okay, that was actually, I'm sorry, but if I look back, it was the worst. Doing nothing for 6, 7, 8 weeks. I become this, and no, but also you feel your body changing. And before you get back, I heard in the previous, how long you get back on level. I mean, it takes so much time. So there I was like, okay, that could have been different. And then it was still not on the level of, I still had so much pain. I was like, okay, this is not going to work. 6 weeks doing nothing, and my pain is still there. So eventually I was like, what about an osteopath, something? Yeah, I'm not sure if it will help. But I'm like, yeah, but why not try? Because you don't know it or not experienced with it. So why not try it? And eventually he helped me past it. I mean, so I think that is something I missed in all that time. It's really into what we see, what we know, what we... Yeah.
What you see is what you get, and there's more.
Yeah, and have the feeling we can make it broader. And I think it's happening now slowly, that it's a little bit more... no more
a little bit more integrated.
Yeah, and it's no taboo anymore.
Okay.
Before, yeah, it's more like, oh,
Yeah.
you're doing that. I said it's not in a regular.
It's complementary.
way. Yeah, I think it can be. So that's the only thing I would maybe really would love to have seen before.
Several questions. Maarten, yeah, and then you.
Do you compare your
Yeah.
your situation, your career with other tennis players, and in a way, does it feel the same? Like, do you recognize the same pattern with colleagues, or do you think there's a different pattern in your career with more injuries or other injuries?
I think it's also depending on kind of playing style, because the ones who are more physically playing, and I'm someone who likes to run on the court and to defend and to move a lot, and I think you're bound to have more injuries than someone who what her strength is to blow someone away and not to run so much. I mean, you still have to be able to move, but that is not someone's strength. And I think if it's your strength, you use it a lot, you lean on it, and it's probably a bigger impact than someone who actually isn't as strong in running. And I think it's more tough on, so it depends on what kind of type of player you are, because I think the guys or the girls with big serves, they tend to have more shoulder problems or elbow problems than I am, because I'm not a big server. So yeah, I think everyone has his own path and problems, but I think it's also related on your game style.
Carol?
No, just imagine, because all the injuries are all physical injuries, and the only gap that was there was not totally physical. So you see how much we are loving to talk about all the injuries that you have, but how was like the mental side of competing all the time?
Yeah, when you're younger, it's part of the deal. Okay, I have a little pain there, and it happens, but
We'll put the positive one on now.
You're more resilient, I think. It happens, and you keep on going. And the more you get older, and you start to think about it more, it gets tougher. And I had a problem to really come through, because I was a good junior, and to make the transition to senior, I think that was harder than my injury problems, because I was like, I was really top of the pack. And I see all the girls who were there, they were going up. I'm like, I should be there. But it was never that I thought the injury was a problem, but I always thought it was my level, actually. Then, and when you get older, of course, like I said, I was out. Then there was a moment where mentally I'm like, God, I just come back from this foot injury. I was put in a casket for 6 weeks. Then they took my tonsils out. I was like, we do it at the same time. Then it's done. And 2 weeks after I got a rupture, and it opened. So I een slagaderlijke bloeding.
Oh yeah.
Dus
Arterial bleed. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so
not
it
good.
wasn't that great either. So I arrived with this thing at the hospital with blood like coming out. They were like, "Okay, yeah, come, we go. Yeah, thank you." But so then it's one after, and at that age I was like, "Geez, I'm good. I'm good now. You know, I have a good life. I'm happy. I like tennis. I do it for a bit." So that's why I actually dropped it. But like you said, I couldn't put it up anymore with all the problems and have to push through it, have to start again, have to recover. So like I said, I got married, and by the time I got divorced, I was like, oh God, and now? And then suddenly there was this thing, oh, I go play tennis again. Like, let's try. And it was so free. And then actually I didn't got injured for a while again, because there was no stress. It's like, oh, I can play again. I'm like, no expectations, no thing, just happy and playing. So there the mental part was the pressure was off. And that was actually funny, because it also comes back into the injuries. And then in 2018, more or less, 18, 19, I was like, actually I have a shot at this. I'm doing well, getting close to top 100. Doubles, I got to top 100. I won WTA tournament. I'm like, okay, I want more. And then problems start again. So I think it's also mentally very related with stress and, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you think that when you were younger and you were kind of pushing yourself past your limits, if there would have been someone to protect yourself against yourself, the list of injuries we just saw would have been shorter, and if it would have affected your performance as well, positively or negatively.
Yeah, I think didn't we just talked about it also a little bit, like when you're younger, and also I heard a little bit in the previous talk, like it's when you are you're top of your class and you're doing well, and I had my dad as my personal coach, but yeah, it's my dad and he wants to take the best, like be the best I can be, to give that chance. But then again, you're doing this national training. Like it wasn't, it was national, but it was regional. Regional training, but they're in a group. So then it's no one is protecting you, because it's just you're part of the group. And I think if you are lucky enough to have the one, everything is private. You have one person who takes every care of you, then it could be protected, I think. But that's a luxury which most of the people, when they come up, they don't have. I mean, financial, it's impossible to have someone full-time with you taking care of you. So I think it does make a difference, but it's impossible.
Yeah, and even maybe, like, I wasn't even thinking about private someone, just coaches. I think their awareness, where, like you said, when you were pushed over your limit, your performance would also decrease. Have coaches be more aware of that and watch out for your athletes. Do you think that would have made it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
What do you think the atmosphere was at the National Federation? Was there a lot of pressure from the federation? I think there was, but...
Yeah, because... sorry, Cantabé, but if you didn't perform, like, if you were doing well, you get selected. And I was, of course, in the top of my age group. But the moment you start losing, they kick you out. So when you do bad...
because we have this...
Yeah, so if you bad, you lose it. So you do everything to be there. So it's, like you said, it's actually contradicting, because if you don't push as hard, then... And it's more individual. And I remember I was 14, and I think I won everything in that age group that year. So my dad asked, can I play with maybe the higher girls or boys? No. It was like, okay, but I'm the best. Why not make it personal or more individual? Because that's what, why not? But they don't make it individual enough. I don't know another sport, but anyway, in tennis, I think it's just a big group, and the one who stands out and the one who survives.
Yeah. Natasha, I'm seeking your help here. Do you think that has changed a little bit at the KNLTB? Or is it still a little bit...
Well, what I heard from
Martijn, yes.
I saw someone
Yeah.
from the age group of 2012 was training with the group 2011. So I think it's a bit, but it's just one person. So
We're hoping for that. Do you think if you'd made a few more Grand Slams, would that have tipped your career? Would that tilted your career towards?
I think it could have helped. I mean, because like I was on the verge, and at the WTA tournament, you get all the care you need. I mean, it's we're just speaking about how funny it is, because if you walk in like, yeah, it's a little bit sore. They come in, they take you for 1 hour, and then you can leave, but it's too much. But still, there at the WTA tournaments, you get all the care. So after the matches, you can get massage, you get treatment, without cost, without anything to pay. But if you go on the lower tournaments, so the like one below, you have sometimes pay for physio if there is one. I mean, there is one, but quality is not on top priority on those tournaments because they don't want to pay for it, like the tournament itself. There's no massage, or if there is, you have to pay for it. So I think if you get into the WTA, you're so much more protected, and like you can take care of your body like every day because there is someone. Yeah. And if you're lower, you have to do it by yourself and get lucky if you have something that is a good physio who can help you. So I think the difference between 150 and lower, if you're ranked 150 in the world and lower, the treatment you get on tour or the way you can provide for your body, it's so much tougher than if you're international, the highest, because anything you want you can. So that can make a big difference if you are struggling with your body every time.
And still you enjoy going out there and playing tennis. And
yes, I do.
I think I got a little sign from Evert, because I would love to continue, but I think we... am I allowed to share your career income with the group? No, I'm not.
They can find it online anyway.
I could find it online. Just to give an example, is it... you look it up for yourself. It's not everybody that becomes a millionaire playing tennis. It's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of coaching. It's a fantastic sport, but the traveling, the coaching, it does require a lot of determination. And I think you can say that's what you've got, Bibiane. Thank you so much.